We cooking.
Wait, like we're cooking, like recording?
We're also recording.
Oh, jeez.
John, can you juggle 2 frying pans with one hand?
Definitely not.
You got to throw one up while also catching the following one, and so on and so forth. For an hour, please.
That sounds pretty zen. Like, I imagine if I could do that, it would be like a relaxing activity.
Do you know what I've always wanted to try? Those like metal balls that make like a nice kind of like spherical kind of like
I always feel like there's something kind of like vaguely sinister about them. Like if I was trying to do a deal with someone who had them in their hand, I'd be like, fuck, I don't know about this.
Okay.
Stress balls? Just the metal ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so
okay, cool.
it's in some anime, but like the guy's in like a big office and his face is in the shade so you can't see it, and he's like, Tashigi, huh? And then it shows like a close up of his hand and he has the 2 metal balls, and then he's like, my prized possessions. His father took these away from me, but I hold them in my hand.
Is this an anime that you're making up or one that exists?
Both.
Okay.
I've got an announcement.
What's the name? Give us the title. Okay, how about this? Tashigi and the Hell Office.
Okay. And there's going to be a bit, because this is what I've always wanted to do in an anime. 2 girls, and they're both like girls who are training to learn how to fight.
Okay.
So they're kind of like Sakura in Street Fighter. They're real kind of like plucky, and they're going to learn how to fight. Mm-hmm. But 2 of them are fighting in a shopping mall, and they used to be best friends in junior high. Mm-hmm. But now they're in high school, and they're rivals. And one girl kicks the shit out of the other girl in that she kicks her so hard, she goes sliding across the mall floor, and a streak of shit comes out from behind her.
Bryan! What the fuck?
And like a bunch of people are like, whoa, she kicked the shit out of her.
I was like so with you. I was so like, that's cool. Okay, yeah, that's really cool. And then you went there with that.
Bryan, I think you pitched this same idea to me like 4 years ago. Like, I think this same thing where someone gets kicked really hard and this streak of shit comes out of them. I think you pitched that to me 4 years ago as part of a different series.
I think this is just your baby idea that you can't let go of.
You know how a Shonen Jump author is like, what the fuck do I do? How the fuck do I get the fans back? Because now I'm in double digits and I'm not getting like the ratings I want. Mm-hmm. And you turn out a chapter like that, and all of a sudden you're back up number 1 ranking. Guarantee it.
I was falling off Tashigi Hell Office for a while there.
Until someone got the shit kicked out of him. And like,
but man, this one chapter, Tashigi's little sister is fighting a rival from high school, and fuck, dude, it gets real.
And like fucking Madhouse are gonna animate it, and they're gonna do such a good job with the sound design. It's gonna have that real.
Stop it! Oh my god, stop!
So that's animation for you.
I'm pretty invested in Tashigi's Hell Office now because I'm thinking about it, and it's like what happens after Battle High School. Like, you know, there's the Battle High School that every anime is. Now he goes and gets a job in an office, but it's like a hell office.
Yeah.
Because that's what you graduate from a Battle High School.
And he's like a guy who peaked in high school, and he's fucking pissed about it.
Yeah. And now his little sister's the main character.
Yeah.
Does his little sister get the shit kicked out of her, or does she kick the shit out of someone?
She kicks the shit out of someone.
Okay, that's good, because I don't know that we have the writing chops to bring her back after she literally smears shit across the floor.
She is so ashamed that she transfers to a different prefecture. Like she changes her name in all social media. Like she doesn't want anyone to find out about this. Because it's so hard to get away from that stuff in 2019. The
it
future
has to come to light like midway during the series, and then she has to deal with her accepting her past to grow stronger in the present.
So she's going to re-challenge Tashigi's... What's Tashigi's sister's name? Keiko. Okay, so she's going to re-challenge Keiko like fucking 40 volumes down the line, and everyone's going to flip their shit.
Tashigi's really cool. She has 3 different color types of hair.
Now, is this Tashigi or Keiko?
Tashigi, the main girl. Keiko has no hair. It's fucked up.
Okay.
It's a really, really good manga.
Yeah, it
hits a lot of things.
Tashigi Hell Office, the realest battle manga.
Yeah. If someone wants to do a little napkin drawing, please. If you're drawing fan art of any of us right now, throw that shit in the garbage.
Let's see some Tashigi Hell Office fan art.
D, could you please do a drawing?
Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. We have reached our monumental 54th episode. That is 54 of the world's strongest video game podcast. 54 episodes.
54 is like one of those numbers where you're just like, yes, 54, the most important number.
Yep, totally.
Think about all the most interesting things that will happen when you're 54.
6 more and you're at 60. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some mathematics in there.
And what number isn't 5 or 4? 6.
Yeah.
Niamh, do you have anything interesting to say about the number 54? Go.
Oh my god, no.
Well,
you can't play this game with me.
Niamh, you're not yes-anding. This is improv. You gotta take the ball that we throw to you.
That is such a shitty ball.
Okay, no, hang on. No,
what will happen
Bryan,
when you're 54?
hang on. It's fine. Look, we can re-edit this. Let's just pretend and do it again. Niamh, what do you have to say about the number 54? Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Me and Bryan are working our asses off here trying to make this the most entertaining podcast.
I don't know a 54-year-old.
Niamh, rhyme something with the word orange. Go.
Boring.
Orange. Perfect.
You can't rhyme orange.
You can't rhyme anything with orange now.
You set me up for failure all the time. That's why.
I think it's that mindset that sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
I think it's the weak content I have to work with.
It's can do, not cannot.
Okay.
Is that what they say?
We're going to book ourselves into some improv classes and we're just going to work through all these issues because your problem is you're not yes-anding.
There's no I in you.
There is not.
No, there's a Y in who. Why? Because of you.
So I just got done watching the first episode and a half of Glow.
The best show ever made.
The best show ever made. And I really liked it. I was always going to because it's a television show made for me.
It's a show about female wrestlers in the 80s with neon lighting.
There's no part of that sentence I don't like. Every part of it was good. But I liked it. It's cool. The writing is kind of like, it's a little awkward, but it's kind of endearing as well. Like, it's fun. And there's like there's enough of the wrestling in it where it didn't just feel like background dressing. You know, it could tell that the people who wrote it like wrestling. I liked that.
So are the actors getting physical a lot of the time?
Can't tell if it's them or stunt doubles. It's probably stunt doubles because it'll be like, they do like a back bump and they'll cut away. The back bump will happen and they'll do that.
But there's still loads of wrestling happening.
80% of the first 2 episodes took place in a wrestling ring.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the humor like?
It's written by Genji Kohan.
Oh,
who made Orange is the New Black.
And Orange, yeah.
I'd say the closest thing I'd compare it to is Orange is the New Black. I liked it more because it had wrestling humor. And there was a bit where Ric Flair was on screen and I was like, oh!
Well,
woo!
I'm sure it's easier to make like wrestling in the 80s lighter than the prison.
I can show you some fucking documentaries, my friend.
Beyond the Mat.
Yeah. But I haven't watched enough of it to give a solid recommendation, but like I'm definitely going to watch more. I liked it. And you know, it's one of those weirdly it's one of those like 34-minute episodes, you know, that could never exist on broadcast television. And I like that because that's 34 minutes is a good amount of time to relax. Not unlike the number 54. Niamh, what do you got?
3, 2, 54.
I have nothing.
That was 4 seconds of dead air.
Do you know how much time it takes to edit out 4 seconds of dead air?
Do you know what? 54 seconds of dead air. I dare you.
Oh my god, please move on.
I think we found our weakness.
Yeah, we have.
It's a fucking number.
Niamh, tell us about the girl with all the gifts.
I thought this was going to be young girl magic powers film. That's in my head when I heard that title. I thought that.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's going to be like Harry Potter. It's going to be a young girl with all the gifts. But it's a horrible zombie movie. And by horrible, I mean really good and dark.
Okay.
So...
yeah, I would not have picked zombie movie from that title.
Yeah, it has like the visual styles of The Last of Us kind of thing. It's set in England. It's so far into a zombie apocalypse that they're looking for cures.
Yeah, that's what I like. Mm-hmm. I don't need to see the zombie outbreak for the 8 millionth time.
Yeah, we're done with
so
that.
Bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we're past that. How do we try and rectify everything? So they're trying to make a vaccine. And then the first shot opens up with these young children, about 12 years old maybe, strapped to a wheelchair, bound by their arms and legs and their head, and wheeled into a classroom. And it's so grim.
And that's the opening of the film.
Yeah,
that sounds like a hell of an opener. Where could people find that? Anywhere besides the internet?
Yeah, it would come out in 2016, so I'd say it's out on Blu-ray by now.
Cool.
Yeah, actually, I watched a Blu-ray of it. Yeah, sweet. I can actually recommend a Blu-ray.
The girl with all, why is it called The Girl with All the Gifts?
Okay, I don't want to go into spoilers for it, but this girl is a bit more cognizant of what's happening around her than the other children, and she tries to affect her future a little bit.
Okay.
And she's kind of considered special from a medical standpoint as well.
Is the film like relatively low budget?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
really low budget. There's actually...
I'm thinking that.
Halfway through is really good. Then second half, they introduced a whole pile of child actors, and that kind of lost me. So the second half goes down. First half, really exciting zombie film.
Okay, I think I'll watch it this weekend.
But Brian, you have been watching the new season of Twin Peaks still.
Oh yeah. Are we all caught up with Twin Peaks?
No.
Yes.
This week we had episode 10.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen this week.
Okay, but the one I really, really want to talk about, and I don't know how to talk about it, is episode 8, which is...
For a long time, well, for the entirety of LA, you were like, dude, episode 8.
Okay, so for those who haven't seen episode 8 of Twin Peaks, or those who have, you probably know the one I'm talking about. It's the very, very special episode.
Yeah, it's a very special episode.
That is different to all the other episodes.
Do you know what I kind of liked about episode 8?
What?
It's like, for this entire season of Twin Peaks, I've been like, man, he's really letting loose. Like, he's just not holding back at all. We're just getting pure, unrestrained him.
Yeah,
know?
David Lynch.
Yeah. Nope. He was being gentle, and episode 8 was just the most fucking Lynchian ass thing I've ever seen. Like, it's more Lynchian than fucking Eraserhead.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched that first thing on our flight to LA.
Wow.
I watched it on my iPad, and it fucked me up for the entire holiday. I don't know what to say other than I'm really, really enjoying this season, and that was like the midpoint, I guess. That was, wow, fucking cool.
Yeah, I am having such a blast with this season.
Yeah.
And like, I'm watching it with Michelle as well, and she fucking loves it so much. Like, and it's been a very fun experience.
Is this something that if you could talk about it, you would, or is it just something people
It's not.
need
I don't
to?
think it's even spoilers.
I don't want to spoil anything because there's some great bits that are just, it's worth going in blind to watch.
Yeah, I don't even know what angle we would come at that discussion from, though. You know, like, I'm shrugging hard.
For me, it's like certain actors that are in it, or appearances, and certain quotes.
There is one very fun cameo.
Yeah. And you know how earlier episodes had the worst fucking VFX ever?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden the VFX got kind of really good.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of gone back to shit again.
Yeah, that's how I like it.
It's the way you do it. The way I'm watching Twin Peaks is I'll watch it, but then midweek I'll watch a bunch of YouTube videos where a bunch of channels are doing like their own breakdowns that are 20 minutes long and pointing out Easter eggs and going, what about this tangent? What about this bit? And I'm like, yeah.
I love it when you find like little communities like that around games. I beat Little Nightmares a while ago, and then I found out that there's like a whole analysis community like trying to dig into that game and figure out what that's about, and that was really fun. But yeah, Twin Peaks season 3, I love it. Like, it's the kind of thing when I catch up with it, I'm like, oh shit, I can't watch any more of it, you know. I checked out Gone Baby Gone. Have either of you guys seen this?
This is Ben Affleck's first film.
His first film he directed.
It's like 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Starring his brother, little Casey Affleck.
Yep.
Hey Ben, wait up for me, it's Casey. You left New England without me. Come back here, Ben. It's me, Casey. Hey, girl.
I'll take him over James Franco's little stain of a brother.
Dave Franco.
Fucking hate Dave.
No, like Casey Affleck's actually worse than Dave Franco.
No, he's not.
No, he is.
Yeah, I think he's like a shit human.
No, like
Like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he paid a girl off for what he did to her. Like, he's a piece of shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Like, at least Dave Franco.
I found him more tolerable on screen than Dave Franco. Dave Franco makes me want to like just tear my skin off.
So,
How did you find it?
I thought parts of it were really dumb, and I kind of loved it.
I think it's a good film.
I liked it a lot. I like the bit where the guy is like, "She's gone, baby, gone," and I was like, "Oh, like the name of the movie."
Whoa! I really like the junkie mom. She's played by.
She was great.
She's played by Beatty from season 2 of The Wire, but I think she won an Oscar for her role. She's really. I don't know if she was. I don't know if she won. She was definitely nominated. I know that.
Yeah, it was a great role
because she's brilliant in it.
I just liked. I think what I liked about it was like, after about an hour, the like first big plot thread wraps up, and you're like, oh, that's the movie. I was like, okay, but then it keeps going, and I think the more it kept going, and the more ludicrous it got, the more into it I got, and I really enjoyed that final scene. I thought that final scene with a certain actor was a lot of fun.
Did you watch it on Netflix?
Yeah.
That's such a Netflix film.
Totally.
Yeah. That is, like, fucking Netflix was made for that kind of film.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just like, you're watching it, it's Saturday night, or you're over at your parents and you can't agree to watch on something, and it kind of ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
It's just one of those movies. I think you might like Mystic River.
Okay.
If you like Gone Baby Gone. They're
check
from
it
the
out.
same era.
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix anyway, but definitely worth checking that out. Bryan, you've also been watching Game of Thrones. What is
it's
a little indie production? What's this?
It's the new HBO show. It's about the Knights.
Oh, that sounds fucking lame.
It's about Sean Bean from Lord of the Rings, and he's like, "You shall not pass."
Oh, seriously? Does he do the line?
Yeah,
does Sean Bean do his infamous "You shall not pass" line?
Yeah, he does it.
Fuck.
Did you guys watch the first episode of the new season yet?
Yep.
No?
No.
Are you interested in watching it?
Yeah.
Okay, because like there's some like interesting fan backlash from it, from a cameo that's in that
Ed
episode.
Sheeran.
Oh, yeah.
He had deleted his Twitter over it.
Oh, I laugh, but that's sad.
His cameo is fucking atrocious, though.
It's just whatever.
I really don't like it because like Coldplay have been in Game of Thrones and so has Snow Patrol. We didn't even notice they were in it. But with Ed Sheeran, they were like, "Look, did you see him?"
I wouldn't have noticed unless someone hadn't been like, "That's Ed Sheeran."
But he was like singing and everything.
I would have just been like, "That's some dude singing."
Okay, because like for me, like they kept holding the camera on him and everything. It was really, they weren't even trying.
Poor Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't really care, but it's more like, even if he wanted to be in the background and someone was picking those edits, he's no option but to have like his stupid face.
Yeah, I guess so.
Up front.
I didn't know he deleted his Twitter over it.
Yeah.
Jesus, because that's such a nothing scene as well. Like, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, like, I didn't know why that scene is in it. Is it just to kind of like lighten the mood of the rest of the episode?
It just felt like a little mini episode.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Just sort of humanizing, you know, the smaller scale of the...
And they wanted to set up what Arya's doing as well. And I thought that was a good way to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But...
Yeah, apparently the season's only 7 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, so they had a budget of 10 episodes, but they only did 7, but... They said that it's supposed to be, you watch them and you get 10 episodes out of it. But the first episode just felt like a first episode, so let's see.
I always see people being like, that first episode of that new Game of Thrones wasn't very good. They're never good. It's always just like, here's where everyone is, here's what they're going to try and do this season, and it kind of goes from there.
Yeah,
It's the prologue, it's the setup.
Yeah. Totally.
Definitely around the midpoint is when you're like, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I checked out the Castlevania Netflix anime. Sure, anime.
Anime, yeah. Made by Frederator Studios of America.
Yep. That's a totally competent 4-episode animation.
Yeah.
Not like, wouldn't blow your mind, but like, it's fun and it's fan servicey and it's gory and I like that.
So the studio that made that, Frederator, also make Adventure Time.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
There was definitely some like rough edges to the production. Like some of the audio mixing is really bad. Like where you can't hear what the person's saying. And so like they're saying something under their breath, except it's mixed really low with high music. And it's like, what the fuck did he just say? But it's also a lot better than I think anyone was expecting. Like it totally tells, like it does, like it's the first season of this Castlevania anime, and they have another second 8-episode season or 8 season. Second season it's going to be 8 episodes, excuse me. And I'm totally intrigued to watch that second season now. Like it's it does a good job.
And is it Simon Belmont fighting Dracula?
I think it's Trevor Belmont.
Is he like 100 years later?
I have no idea. Probably.
Yeah, because Dracula can come out like every 100 years.
Yeah.
I think that's the lore.
Dracula's good in it. Dracula, the first episode is all about Dracula, and he's fun.
Dracula's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Niamh, can you tell us a fact about Dracula?
He doesn't like onions.
It's garlic.
Shit. Okay.
God, Niamh, what if a vampire attacked you? What would you do?
Keep throwing onions. And be like, why is this girl so many onions? I'm like, get out of my room.
Get out of my bedroom, Dracula. That's supposed to be in here.
I'm just a sad onion girl.
Okay, let's say we move on to something that Niamh can absolutely definitively talk about in our strategy talk.
Niamh, can you tell us about your crippling addiction to...
How's the heroin, Niamh? How's Destiny?
The Destiny 2 beta was today for people who pre-ordered, which I did. It started at 5, so I've only played like 2 hours of it, but that's an opening mission, and it's really good. I had a great time. It's like every criticism... The mission just... It felt more involved in every sense. There was like story to it. There was actual stuff happening. There was a shot with people kind of milling around because they're all displaced and stuff, and they would have never put that in the first one. Like, I don't know if it's still a low bar, but right now it's playing more like Halo, and I really like it.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The gameplay is much faster. It kind of has a bit of a Doom feel to it as well. You're doing a lot of running.
You're doing a lot of like strafing around things.
You have to keep like I felt with the first one, you're kind of finding cover and shooting into a sponge. With this one, I felt I was moving more, like getting through different pockets of enemies, and there was different types of enemies, like a incinerary guy where you shoot out his like jetpack and it blows him up. Like really common shit, but fun. That was fun to have in it.
So the way Destiny works, like the enemies have a certain amount of health, your weapons do so much damage. How does it work then with like a guy where there's like, I guess, a mechanic to beating him, like blowing up his incinerary pack to whatever?
He takes more damage from the explosion, or it takes him full out, and there's like area damage, so I can't be around the jetpack either.
Interesting. Okay.
So like, it feels way more Halo, and it feels way more interesting in terms of enemy types so far. So that was a really, really good first mission. That was a strong opening point. I was really into it. And the whole kind of story is the light has been taken over by it's by this new faction. They're literally draining the Traveler, which is the big orb over the city. They've got some machine onto it and they're draining it.
I wish the story was just like, because like the darkness is the enemy in Destiny 1.
Yeah, it's so vague.
I hope in Destiny 2 that the light is actually evil too.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, but no, it doesn't seem to be. Because everyone was like, maybe the Traveler's evil.
And then Destiny 3 could be the balance between the light and the dark.
No, they need to bring in a new element for Dex. Like, I hope it's like light, dark, and toxic.
Yeah. Poison. It's poisoning the galaxy.
So you seem happy.
Yeah, but it's a beta.
Yeah.
Like, it might be the same shit all over again.
The character you design in the beta, is that the one you can use then in the main game?
I think it's just they're going to dump it because you can't design them. You have to pick from a Hunter, Warlock, and Titan, and it's just the set.
Which class do you like, Niamh?
Hunter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's that?
Agile rogue type. They have a bow and arrow, hand cannon. They're the fast-footed, fleet-footed ones. They're good.
Cool. That sounds good. I every couple of weeks or every couple of months I'm like, should I?
No.
Just no.
No, you just wouldn't like it. I wouldn't even say try, because I think it scratches a particular itch for if you like sci-fi shooters, and that's it. I don't know if you were never into first-person shooters, if you'd go, okay, this is the one for me.
I think even I would just like to have an opinion on it, that kind of way. But that will probably never amount to anything, especially given the year in games it's been. When's it out?
2 months, I think, yeah.
So it's going to be in contention for our Game of the Year this year.
Probably not, no.
It'll be something of the year. It won't be Game of the Year, but it'll be something.
We'll see. I mean, if it was, if I felt
Addiction
so pushed,
of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be something.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have all, and I'm sure all of us will have some sort of addiction. Like, what's the game you're addicted to, John?
So Binding of Isaac is out on the Switch, and look, I think I may have said some stuff on this podcast where I said I wasn't going to buy it because I already bought. Like, I knew that was a lie. Like, anyone who's been paying attention to this podcast knows that's a lie. And so I bought it, but it was only going to be a thing where, like, I was just going to play it when the opportunity called for it, like on a plane, which I did, which was great. That was the plan anyway. I've played 20 hours of it. Please, someone come over to my house and break my Switch, because I can't do this again.
Did this game kind of help with the jet lag or make it worse?
Oh, I guess it kind of helped, but God, I have been through this like 4 times with that game where like I just get so into it and I'm like, okay, if I play one session every day, I can get where I want to go in about 6 weeks. And it's just become this fucking life-draining thing again. And it's like, I don't want to play it anymore because I want to go play Nier and I want to play Persona, which are games that I'm actually enjoying, you know? But it's a great game. Like, I think Binding of Isaac is one of the best games last generation. Like, no question. It's a fucking exceptionally made game. I just hate what it is doing to my life, and I hate that it's doing it again, because I cannot stop.
It does flow too well. Like, that's what Destiny is as well. It does that whole pick up, fall into it, you look away, and like 5 hours are gone by.
Yeah.
It feels good to feel flow.
The thing is, like, you die in that game. You have like a 34-minute run and you die. Then all you have to do to start again is hit A. That's the only thing you have to do. And like, look, you've started a new game. You might as well see what your first item pickup is going to be, you know? And then, oh, this is actually a pretty interesting item. I wonder how this run will go for me. And then it's like 4 hours later and you're really wishing that you had played Nier today. Because you want to see, because that's an actually interesting game that is fulfilling you in different ways. But this is just like a heroin addiction.
Did you see Ed McMillan's new game?
Oh,
the creator of Binding of Isaac.
I haven't. No, it's like a platformer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another kind of Twitch platformer where it's fast paced, but this seems to be more puzzle based as well.
Yeah,
but it definitely looks like the guy who made Super Meat Boy made another kind of die 100 times platformer. You'll get it on the 101st go.
I've heard this one's a lot more considered. Like, you're meant to be able to get through this one without dying every time.
Okay.
But it's meant to be as hard. It's just a slower pace.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, Binding of Isaac is an amazing game and I hate it. Brian, you have been playing Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I've only played a tiny bit. But I know this isn't fair, but first impressions, I don't really like it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Like, a game should draw you in.
Yeah, I just started playing and I was like, here's your avatar. And I was like, this looks like some shitty Newgrounds thing. Like, not in like a good way, just like in a really kind of like... It looked like someone had made like a core in AMV on Newgrounds and this was like the character.
Sure. Okay.
This like weird voodoo doll fucking loser guy. And you're supposed to make him look all like cool with his sword and his Dark Souls build. I was like, what did I... Well, I bought it for like €8, which is fine. And it works on the Vita too, which is cool.
And what do you like? Does it just feel like it doesn't have its own thing? Like, okay, how like Dark Souls is it?
A lot. Well, like it's 2D Dark Souls, but I don't know if Dark Souls works in 2D.
Yeah.
My favorite thing with Dark Souls is the environmental stuff, which is something we'll get into later in an email. This doesn't have that, I don't think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the reason you like those kind of Dark Soul-y games is for the story.
Yeah, I love stories and I love maps. I love architecture. This kind of felt like a struggling Metroidvania. Like maybe it opens up a bit more
this
later.
Just has the concept, the combat as a concept, doesn't it? Doesn't take
pretty
other
much.
Stuff, really.
I picked the hunter build, so you get a whip, so I have like long range attacks, which is kind of handy because I'm kind of a bit scared going down certain paths.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm probably just not in the right mindset for it or something.
I know some people who really like that game, but I've also never seen anything about it that really made me want to pick it up. Something about the way the movement looks in it, I don't know, it just... Yeah.
Oh, it feels like... Honestly, it feels more like a Little Big Planet than it does like Dark Souls.
That's not good.
Like you look like fucking Sackboy, and you're kind of floppy like him. It's really kind of I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. Do you think you're gonna play much more of it?
Yeah, maybe in like 6 months.
Wow, okay.
I'm just not in the mood for it right now.
Yeah.
I will play it, I'm just not in the mood.
Yeah.
If someone out there really likes that game, sell it on me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always interested to hear compelling arguments for like things I don't like.
Yeah, pitch it.
Niamh, you've played Nier Automata.
Sure have. I am 6 hours in.
Whoa!
Nice.
Yeah. It's really good. I really like it. There's some really nice stuff. Like, environmentally, they're pushing what they have, so you get this kind of real empty sense from it.
Definitely.
It feels like that's like super intentional. It kind of manifests itself in a bad way as well, like where the environments do kind of seem empty. So it's just like, you're selling me on what I need for this narrative, but going around them,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that in that game, but we'll get into that.
It's fun. Yeah, I'm really liking it. I literally stopped at the weirdest shit ever happening. A very naked person.
Yeah, that's a fucking
happened.
great cutscene.
Yeah.
Did you see the robots doing it?
Yeah, what the hell? I was like, okay.
Just clanking.
So 2B is your android that you play as, and 9S is an android, and they are given the task from humanity who now live on the moon because we fucked Earth up so super bad. And we've made this android race to fight the robots that have taken over Earth.
Yeah.
So probably industrial robots that we made that...
They were the robots that were made by the brothers who sell you weapons in Nier 1.
Oh, okay. So just industrializing stuff with robots, and now we have made this force of androids to go fight them.
And these ones are sleek, sexy ones.
Yeah, these are the super sleek, sexy ones.
Yeah.
But straight off the bat, like, there isn't a lot of cutscenes or anything, but you really feel what it's trying to sell you with 2B's in like reaction to things. When she sees all the robots fucking and fighting each other, she's like, ah, and 9S is like, just don't look at them, just don't look at them. They're they're animals.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. And it's just part of why are they acting like this, and her being kind of alarmed by it, and even should she feel alarm, and you can really feel that struggle through her quite early on.
Yeah.
I really like that about it. That mini-map is bad.
It's real bad.
It's super bad.
Especially the checkpointing shit. Like, your main objective marker barely looks different to the sub marker, and it's so frustrating.
It's annoying because you look at that menu and you're like, I want to take screen grabs. It's gorgeous looking. It's really nice. It serves no function.
Yeah. It
doesn't serve a map's function at all, getting you around the place.
Yeah. The menu's a bit kind of shitty in general. Like, I think it looks nice. I think I'm always like, fuck, where's that? Where is it, in intel or skills or weapon? Like, what am I looking for here?
That's something that could be patched.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's necessary. I kind of like that it's part of 2B, so it kind of just seems like her her OS is kind of clunky, which I guess as a player, not great for me, but I kind of like it. It doesn't bother me so much that I would want them to change it.
That's the thing with Yoko Taro. I find, like, with so much of his stuff, it's like, I'm not enjoying this element of the game. Am I meant to be not enjoying it? You know, so yeah, there is that.
There's some stuff like that. Story is sparse.
Very sparse.
But happening.
Yeah.
You know? It'll take one NPC to say something weird. Like, I just met a girl called Jackass. She's like, my name's Jackass. And I was like, oh, I'm not calling you that ever. Why? And that's just it. But it's so pointed. Every interaction you have feels pointed.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to meet that character, it seems like this is just a bit more important than NPC 1 giving me a quest. I feel like I'm taking notice of them a bit more.
Yeah, and I think there's some throwaway lines in there that are very like, I think this is going to come back in a bigger way later.
Yeah. The music design is really great as well.
Oh, it's so good.
When you go into a town from Field World, just a slight change in music really kind of, again, it makes me take notice of everything. I'm not like just going around doing stuff, hitting markers. I'm kind of like, oh, look at this area. Even if they're sparse.
There was a really cool thing where I went into like a kind of hacking minigame, and the song stayed the same, like the melody was exactly the same, except it seamlessly went into like kind of 8-bit bleeps and bloops. And so like on the overworld, it was this big dramatic like kind of orchestral theme, and then when I went into the game, it would flow right into like the same melody except 8-bit now, and that was fucking awesome.
blending music design, UI design into the narrative, into the player experience.
We won't spoil it, but you know the bit where you wake up as 2D.
Oh, and you need the
yeah. I thought that was
a good moment.
Really good.
It was so simple. There's another NPC you meet, and she asks you how you're feeling, and it's about motion sickness. So you can switch the motion sickness options by having a conversation with an NPC about how you're feeling. Because I was just like, when I was talking to her, it was bobbing a bit, and I was like, that is off. And she fixed it for me, and it felt like, oh, this person fixed something wrong with me.
Like rather than not the settings in the game, she fixed you.
Yeah, exactly. She fixed the settings and me and it felt way more pointed. Where before I would just go options, motion sickness off. Like you know, it made me take notice of what I was doing to the game. Yeah.
So I actually beat ending A of Nier recently, and I think I was where you are with a lot of that stuff. I think as the game went on, I did get kind of underwhelmed with it. Especially the combat. How have you been finding the combat?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean though.
I think I was thinking about this a lot because it's really hard to put a finger on why the combat wasn't doing it for me. And I think 2B, like controlling 2B feels amazing. Like she feels like so good to run around as and like to do all her sword swipes and all her like kind of like dodge attacks and everything. That all feels great. But my problem is with like the actual combat design and how those movements are implemented. I just feel so many of the fights are like mash, 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 wait for the time to dodge, mash, 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 mash. And I just think Platinum are capable of so much more than that.
But maybe...
Should you play on hard?
I heard that hard just ups the enemies.
I see.
Like, it doesn't mess with the AI.
It wouldn't like... It's the only thing hard's going to do is rebalance the numbers, and it's not like I think the numbers are off. Like the bosses take long enough to beat. I die a fine amount of times. It
just doesn't have a style.
I'm just not engaged, especially after like 10 or 15 hours.
I think it feels like very classic beat 'em up brawlery stuff, like Drakengard, where it's not really about getting the right combat sequence happening. It's just about mashing it and looking cool while doing it and just going through enemies.
Yeah, I don't understand what advantage that would have over like an intentional feeling combat system, because like you are meant to feel good playing it, like the work that's gone into like the mechanics of 2B's dodge and stuff like that all feels great. I would just like more intentional feeling enemies, like more creative like not enemy design but like combat design from the enemies.
Do you think that might go against the narrative of the game though, because they're meant to be clunky crappy robots?
Maybe, but there's stuff later on where it's like I think they want this to feel like a cool anime battle and the design of it is holding it back.
Okay.
But there's various issues I had with it. Like I really had issues with the map as well, and like the waypoint system is so bad because sometimes they'll be like, you need to go here, and they'll place this big marker on your map, and that's where you need to go. But to get there, so you're at A and you need to go to B, but to get there you have to go to C first and then B. So like an example would be like there's a big city and you need to go there, and that's where the waypoint is. But to get there, you need to go down a manhole that's way out of the way that you'd never really find. And like stuff like that, it really frustrates me so much. I'm very bad at directions, as you both discovered in LA. And this stuff just kills gaming experiences for me. And like, I got over it. It was fine, but it just was something that I really wish wasn't there. And then I think when the game was like all said and done, I enjoyed the last boss fight. It was fun. But I was definitely left feeling a little I was left feeling underwhelmed, like especially considering kind of a lot of what I'd heard about the game, and like there is good stuff in Route A, but I think after about 8 hours in, I was like, okay, I get it, like I understand what's going on here. I understand the themes, I understand all this stuff, and I felt like it kept bashing me over the head with them, you know. But all this said, the thing you constantly hear about this game is that Route A is the fucking tutorial. Like, it doesn't count for anything. And I just wanted to poke my head into Route B, like, just see. And stuff I saw in the first hour of Route B was immediately, like literally the first 5 minutes of Route B was more engaging than anything I saw on Route A, and I'm genuinely excited to go back in now.
It's an evolution.
Yeah, like Yoko Taro is such a fucking weird guy, and I have a feeling that I'm kind of exactly where he wants me. Like, I'm meant to be like, okay, is this it? And that's really exciting, because I feel like I'm being messed with by, I'm being messed with by a game designer, and that's like the most fun thing. And even like some of my issues with like the combat and how he layers like strategy, that kind of became resolved with some stuff as well, and that is definitely a very special game. No idea how much I'm going to enjoy it. And like, if you love Nier and you've completed all the endings and you're like screaming at me to keep going, I will definitely keep going. Like, I'm getting ending E with this because I want to have that discussion. But yeah, Route A, definitely a little underwhelmed. Still excited to play more.
Cool. I haven't played this game yet, but I plan to play it by the end of the year. Absolutely.
I have no idea what you'd make of it. This is a total Bloodborne situation where you could hate it or you could love it.
Yeah. I hated The Last Guardian. I could have loved that game as well, though.
Yep.
So who knows?
But you have been playing Cave Story Plus.
Cave Story Plus. This is on the Switch as well, which when we were in LA, I was like, holy shit, they have Cave Story on the Switch. And I opened it up so I bought it right away. It was $30, which is like, what, €25? It's pretty good.
About that.
And I played it before on my computer like 10 years ago, because that game came out in like 2004. I downloaded.
Have you ever seen Cave Story?
No idea.
So without Cave Story, there'd be like no Undertale, there'd be no Fez.
God damn it, Cave Story. Why?
It's one of those like,
it's the best fucking game, Niamh. Fuck you.
John loves Fez. God.
No, I don't.
It's one of those indie games made by one person, and it has like kind of different endings, or it's kind of got like a real personal feel to it.
Yeah.
And it's all pixely and cute.
Totally feels like it was a game programmed by one person.
Yeah, so it was done by an office man who goes by the internet name Pixel, and he made it all on his own in his free time, and he released it to the internet. And since then, it's been like ported to the DS, properly released on Steam, ported to the 3DS in 3D, which I also own. And then this is the Steam version, but redone again. And you have 4 different soundtrack options in this game. And that you can play the original, the DS original, the Steam original, and then like a fourth one, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. And you open up like the box, and it comes with a CD as well of the soundtrack. But the CD is on like a smaller size disc. It's on like a GameCube size disc. But I haven't tried listening to the soundtrack yet, because I don't know if I have anything that has a disc tray. Like my computer here that we're using doesn't have a disc tray, because I don't read. Oh, I could put on my PS4 maybe.
Try it.
PS4 plays music, I think.
It doesn't take audio CDs.
I have a PS2 you could use.
Jesus. Isn't that so weird? You're like, oh wow.
Really weird.
Just give me a code to an MP3 zip or something.
You a fan of Cave Story, Bryan?
Yeah, I love it.
I really love Cave Story.
But
That not come across.
Well, Bryan sometimes buys things and doesn't play them.
I own
Cave Stories.
Cave
Story is a collectible thing.
I own Zone of the Enders on Xbox. I don't like that game.
Yeah, I've got 2, but I like it.
You like it, okay. But my favorite thing about the box edition of this game is that it comes with a Game Boy size instruction manual, and it has a fake Nintendo official seal of quality, but it's their own version, and it has like a guide to all the weapons and a kind of a loose breakdown of the first 10 minutes of the story.
Some really cool little illustrations.
Is
Lovely.
the game good though, Bryan?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What's it about?
Let him tell his manual story.
I just don't want to tell you the manual. Okay, so at the very, very back of the manual, it tells you how to get all the good endings without kind of like spoiling them. But it says like the way you have to read the manual is you have to read the letters that are in bold, and it says hold this up to the light, and then you hold the page up to the light, and new words fade in true underneath.
That's cool.
It's really
it's
cool.
Deadly.
Oh no, this game's a Metroidvania. Like it's cute little platformer game, but it's also really, really hard.
Very hard.
And it's got a bunch of different endings, and it's kind of like, it's a bit like Nier in that it's about robots that are trying to figure out who they are, and one of them has amnesia. I don't know. It's that kind of shit. Who are we?
Sure.
It's one of them. It's got dragons.
The dragons are good. I like the
dragons are really cool.
Yeah.
And there are 2 bosses. One's called Balrog, and he's a giant television, and the other one's a witch called Misery.
She's so... I love Misery.
But later on you meet an old lady, and she's like, Misery's my granddaughter, and you're like, oh no. It's got a lore to it. It's really weird. Because it's made by one guy who got super into it. And then he quit his job to work on the 3D game.
I wonder what he's doing now.
Probably making He probably made Cave Story Plus. Yeah. The Switch. Like, it's all he's got. He's got like this one game, and he's going to keep doing it.
Hey, I mean, that's fine.
Fez 2 is going to come out any day now. Yeah, no, I love it. Just because I played the game for free a very long time ago, and I'm happy.
Oh, me
to buy
too.
it this
Yeah,
time.
like I played it years and years ago, and then like it came out on Steam, and I was like, I'm not gonna play it again right now, but I'll totally pay money for it because it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Niamh, I think you'd really like it.
He has another game that came out recently called Garo Blaster, where it's another pixel game. He plays a little frog with a gun.
Garo Blaster.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
That game is a weird one because it came out like before indie stuff really started. Like,
Yeah, the game came out in 2004. That's 13 years ago.
That was nearly before the indie scene became like an important. Like it was before like the Xbox Live Summer of Arcade, I think.
Yeah.
And that was when that kind of marked when like indie games started becoming like a big deal.
Do you think if it came out now, people would take notice, or are we so saturated with indie games that people would not have cared for?
I think they just think it's another fucking pixel platform.
I don't know. I think it'd be like sleeper hit of the year. I think it'd be like, you guys play Cave Story? It's pretty good.
Do you know what? It probably would, because it's got a lot of weird lore, and there'd be a bunch of like glomps on Tumblr that would glomp onto that and do their shitty little fan art and be like, it's about me. About my gender.
I don't think there's enough like. There's not enough. Shit, like I don't think you could ship the robots and the rabbits.
No.
People will try. People
ship
that
the
one
fucking
character with
skeletons.
themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. The game's pretty sensitive, which is what they want. They're very, very sensitive people on Tumblr and on.
I remember looking up
on Twitter and all that
Undertale fan art just to see like, or not fan art, like shipping stuff, because I was like, right, what do people actually do? Like, what's the weirdest shit? And I was like, what the fuck is Undyne/Self? And I opened it and I was like, oh. And with that, we're going to move into our Quicktime Events. So EVO was this weekend, which is the biggest fighting game tournament on the planet, and we have a ton of announcements about it. I didn't actually get to watch it. Did either of you?
Nope.
I watched a little bit of Tekken.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Good stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to catch up with the tournaments because I usually find them like a blast to watch when I do watch them.
I think that's cool that they use EVO as a platform as well to announce fighting game stuff.
Yeah, it's gotten fucking huge.
Like it's cool to do it at E3, but like EVO's gonna get like it's gonna hit the right crowd.
A new Street Fighter character at E3 would get lost completely.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we have Abigail in Street Fighter V.
He's from Final Fight.
He is, yeah. He's the tougher version of Hugo from Final Fight.
Okay, so
he's a Hugo palette swap.
Are Hugo and Poison both in Street Fighter V?
No. They're in Street Fighter 4.
Okay. So is he the first Final Fight character?
No. Guy and Cody were in Street Fighter Alpha 3.
No, but in Street Fighter 5, is he the first Final Fight character?
I think he might be, yeah.
Where's Ed from?
Ed?
Yeah.
Ed is from... He's from Balrog's ending from Street Fighter 2 for the Game Boy Advance.
Wow.
Yeah. And did you guys watch the trailer for Abigail?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this? And then when I saw he was 8 feet tall, I was like, sure, why not?
I think 8 feet tall is conservative.
Like, he's bumping into the health god gauge. Like that's,
the health god, yes.
Yeah. Like that he's like bumping into his stats. His face is getting cut off by it.
Yeah.
He's too tall.
People are mad. He has not gone down well with the community.
Why is he like a troll character that people will play as?
I think a lot of it is to do with like the first 10 seconds of the trailer where he does like his fight intro. And they're kind of... I guess his intro kind of leads you to believe that maybe he's someone with, we'll say, intellectual disabilities.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
In that like he's a grown man, a massive like, fucking 12-foot grown man pretending to like drive a car, like he's like steering wheel, he's using and like running around.
Like he thinks he's a car. He's got tires on.
He thinks he's a car. Yeah, I think that's.
Isn't Hugo the same?
Yes,
I thought Hugo was sensitive.
He is, but he's also kind of But Abigail is like Hugo except more.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think they maybe hit a hard limit there with Hugo, a line that maybe they should not cross anymore. But I mean, I love big bruiser characters. Like I like planning my moves and getting one big hit and like just like draining someone's health. Like even if it's a big slow heavy hit and I land it, that feels so good. And so I think he looks cool, but the community would disagree with that a lot. Street Fighter V continues to be in a weird place, and I think it's only getting worse.
Do you think maybe they'll like counter all this negativity by like saying one sentence where it's like, yeah, he thinks he's a car, but he's in Mensa?
Oh my god, no, that's something Overwatch would do.
Yeah.
Okay, because you know
That's
how
Overwatch, right?
I know, but,
Yeah.
you know how they made Poison and everyone was like, that's disgusting, and they were like, well, she's transsexual. How do you feel about that? And they were like, well, you got it.
But that was ages ago. Now it's like, you shouldn't be... We know better.
Yeah, because
you know?
you know how you were playing Overwatch on holidays and you were showing me Farah, and I was like, she the Native American one? What's that about? She's Egyptian. You were like, oh, she's half Canadian, and her dad is from a Canadian native Canadian tribe.
They had to retcon that stuff in just to kind of like, hey, why? Is it because she's a dark-skinned girl with black hair? Is that the only reason? And they were like, no.
Actually, blah, 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 blah.
There's also like Roadhog skin. He has like a Maori skin where they darken up his skin for it as well. And I think they're going to make him like he has a Maori father or something like that.
Like his dad's from New Zealand.
Yeah,
and he's part of the Maori
They're
tribe.
from New Zealand. It's just like...
Oh, they're both from New Zealand?
Yeah, it's just that one skin.
Are Roadhog and Junkrat bad guys?
Yeah, but
I thought
they're
no.
not in the story of... Like, they're Overwatch is like a political thing fighting other political crap.
They're just rascals.
Yeah, they're criminals on the run.
They're not bad guys. They're scamps. They're like Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
They're treasure hunter criminals who got wrapped up in all of this stuff.
Do
they have any... Yeah, they're like us. Do they have any connections to any other characters?
Not really, no. Like Hanzo has a voice line where he's just like, "Where is your treasure?" So like I think they've ran into them on their separate adventures. They just seem to be always around causing mischief.
Yeah, because everyone in Overwatch seems interlinked except those two.
Yeah.
Niamh, could you do your Hanzo impression
That was
again?
really good.
Just do one for...
No.
Please?
Niamh will bring back the number 54.
Sake.
So that was your Overwatch minute?
That was your Overwatch minute. There was also Trunks was revealed for Dragon Ball FighterZ, and he looks fucking amazing, like everything about that game.
Yeah, I can't wait for that game. That looks fucking cool.
Niamh, Trunks is your baby boy.
Yeah, he's the hunkiest Dragon Ball Z character.
He was made for that manga so that like a certain demographic would have a reason to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the girl crush character, and it works.
Totally. He's the
Nightwing of
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
He's softer than the other boys.
I love how he's introduced that like Frieza's back and he's rebuilt himself, and then Trunks just shows up and cuts him.
The way he cuts him is so fucking cool, and like the weird arm movements and everything he does, and all that shit is in Super or in FighterZ.
That's cool. I think the first time I saw the Trunks episode, because I think that was one I watched, where they fight each other, but I think Frieza thinks he's won because he sees Trunks splitting in half. But really, that's his vision splitting in half because he's the one that got cut.
That's so good.
There's some cool stuff in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Trunks. Welcome Trunks.
I mean, he's kind of a disappointment after that, but I mean...
He might... in Super, he might do something cool.
I started watching Super.
Yeah?
Yeah, seems cool. I'm only on like the first episode after the Beerus arc, where the aliens who are scared of dogs come down and try and fight Mr. Satan.
It's so funny, isn't it?
It's so goofy.
Like, Dragon Ball Super is more comedy than anything else, and I love it that way.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I don't think it looks as bad as people say it does.
Nah.
Like,
There's a lot of reuse, but I think if the animation you're reusing's nice looking, I'd rather that than, a still frame or some shit.
yeah, I'd rather that than my immersion be shattered.
Yeah.
But okay, this one This one got me pretty excited.
Did you not know about this? Because it wasn't in the docket and I put it in.
I'd seen the trailer alright. I just didn't mention it because I didn't think either of you would care.
I care.
Geese Howard is in Tekken 7.
So
and the trailer for this was beautiful.
I didn't watch the trailer.
His English voice acting, though, is too good. It should be way worse to be Geese Howard. I will stain my hands with your blood. That's how Geese Howard... No, that's not my impression of Geese Howard, Brian. That's fucking Geese Howard.
Is that your impression of Hanzo?
No. I'm afraid Niamh is the expert in that area.
Niamh, you're very good at doing a Japanese man.
Thanks. It's all I've got going for me.
But the idea of Heihachi and Geese fighting gets me more excited than Akuma and Heihachi fighting, because they're the two old bad men
who run like crime rings.
They both run crime syndicates. They're both just complete fucking assholes when they really don't need to be.
Okay, so Geese is an SNK character from Fatal Fury.
Yes. He became the main bad guy in King of Fighters for a while too.
Yeah.
But I think he was like... He runs Southtown, which is the really bad town that Terry Bogard's from.
And the Bogard brothers hate him, isn't it?
No, they hate him. And he hates them.
Okay, because I have Capcom versus SNK Match of the Millennium on the Neo Geo Pocket, and I can't beat Geese.
He's a motherfucker.
He's really, really, really hard in that game.
He stain his hands with your blood?
Yeah, the little sprite, taunted me.
What's Geese's deal?
It's kind of like...
I love his name is Geese.
He does
What's Goose's problem?
Yeah, no, Geese, there's loads of them.
So he does like the gentlest martial art ever, Aikido, which is like super, use your opponent's force against them. And
brushes you.
It's a very graceful, elegant martial arts, except he's a motherfucker. Like, he's the most evil businessman in the world. He just happens to be really good at Aikido. And he's got a really simple design, but like an incredible amount of charisma. Like, all his voice lines over the years are all this just like really just mean, like spitting at you kind of stuff. And he's also like the owner of like a massive multinational corporation. He's the M. Bison to Terry Bogard. I'm very fond. There's a really great...
Is he American? Because he's wearing like...
No, he's ultra Japanese.
Oh, really? Yeah. He's super blonde.
I know.
Yeah, he's just...
I just thought he was like an American guy who was really into Japanese culture, and that's why he was...
He's just a man that made himself...
There's another Street Fighter character called Sodom. And Sodom is who you're thinking of.
Oh yeah, that dude.
Sodom is like a giant samurai, and he's got like kanji on his chest and like ritualistic samurai armor. He's American. Okay. And that's his whole gimmick. Like he's just like an otaku. People should look up a clip called Goose Howard.
Goose Howard?
Yeah, and it's a dog being attacked by a really angry goose, except they've added in the sound effects of all Geese Howard's special moves, and it's one of my favorite clips on the internet.
Maybe that could be your loot drop.
Remind me later to toss that in with my loot drop, because it's a magical clip that will... you're having a really shitty day and there's just certain clips that will just just help. This is one of them. The Mysterious Fighting Game.
I saw this. What the fuck is this game?
This is fucking wacky. This is weird.
It's some 3D model, but it's another 2D beat 'em up. And they were just showing off, they were like, we can't tell you what this game is. Here it is.
Okay, so here's what it is. Many, many years ago, the Street Fighter EX series started, and they were handled by a company called Arego or something like that. It's not that, but it's something similar. And what it was all the Street Fighter characters being put into 3D for the first time. This released on the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, and I think the Sega Saturn as well. And the company behind the game, it wasn't being developed by Capcom, it was just being published by them. They made all their own characters, and they made people like the infamous Dr. Death and Garuda and Blair, everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
and
Blair.
Of course Skullomania, who is actually a legitimately fucking amazing character. He's just like a Sentai character, except he's like a skeleton Power Ranger, and he's amazing. And so they made Street Fighter 1, 2, and 3, and at the time they were pretty poorly received. People didn't like them because they weren't Street Fighter, but over the years they did actually get a weird cult following. And so last April Fools, a trailer dropped that was their original characters from Street Fighter X without the Street Fighter characters. So essentially what this game is Street Fighter EX4 without any Street Fighter characters and just the original characters from the company. And it's the weirdest fucking thing. And they don't even have a name for it. That's why it's called the Mysterious Fighting Game.
Is it going to come out, like, do you think it's PC only? Will this come out on PS4?
It's PS4. And it's getting a beta at the end of this year, which I'm definitely going to play. And I'm really excited. This is such a weird thing to exist.
Yeah, may as well have, like, another fighting game
and like
against
the
other
footage from
three.
it, I thought it looks cool. Like, the character models are fun.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to finding out more about that. Bryan, tell us about BlazBlue Cross Tag.
Okay, so this is mainly a BlazBlue game, but it's a tag team fighter where you could tag in characters from other Arc System Work games.
Mm-hmm.
So they tagged in Yu Nakamura from Persona 4 Arena. Who else did they tag in? They tag in
some dude from Under Night in Birth.
Yeah, and then they tagged in. Then it ended, but then it was like, "Hey, wait for me!" And it was Ruby.
From Ruby?
Yeah.
Ruby is a playable character in
My
a
girl.
Arc System Works game.
Now, this is a 2D hand-drawn Arc System Works game. This isn't like Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball. This is like the B team, I guess, because you know how Arc System Works have like an A team that are doing 3D stuff, and then the B team are still on 2D with BlazBlue.
It's a weird crossover fighter, and I'm happy it exists. I'll play this.
Like for the past 8 years, or maybe like 10 years, no, 8 years, they've made a BlazBlue every year, where they make a full BlazBlue every 2 years, and then every in-between year, it's just like an expansion.
Yeah.
So this is what they're doing this year.
But even the full BlazBlue games, they're still like just the next point one up.
Oh yeah. So it's cool that the team are doing something different this year. I think it's a cool idea, and I really like Arc System Works. Like it'd be out of the big three. There's Arc System Works, Capcom, and then I guess Bandai Namco would be like the other one, like of the fighting games. But I think Arc System Works are really up for trying out weird shit.
Yeah, I really respect the way they do their shit.
So yeah, I think this is cool. And
yeah,
I really like Persona 4 Arena. I hope they're making Persona 5 Arena.
I hope it gets the Guilty Gear treatment.
That'd be amazing. I'd love if like they had that team on it.
Yeah,
but it'll be a few years until they announce that.
And that's about it for fighting game news. There was some other stuff out of EVO, but nothing that I think we particularly care about. There was like some new Marvel versus Capcom Infinity characters, but like honestly, I just could not give a shit at this point.
Yeah, same. Boring.
Kingdom Hearts Toy Story trailer.
So they announced this at D23 that was on over the weekend as well. That's where Disney do all their kind of press release announcements for the next year ahead.
This is the first year I've heard about this.
Really?
I've never heard about it before either.
They really started pushing it last year.
I heard it, like, is it every 2 years or is it every year?
I think it's every year.
Okay,
I think it's every summer.
Never heard about it. I just saw the hashtag.
They've never, so I think they announced Epic Mickey at one of these before. But they were talking about Star Wars Land and Disneyland, and they were showing off like concept for that and actual models, and they were talking about some re-releases of films and some of their plans. But then they brought out Square Enix.
It's so crazy because people were looking for this trailer at E3. They were like, no, it belongs to D23.
Yeah.
Then I guess like it had a lot of focus on it for it. It's Kingdom Hearts in Toy Story Land. Looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all toys.
Yeah. I hate Sora's toy design. It's really blocky. He looks like a crappy Bionicle.
I think like the problem is that the toys from Toy Story look like way better toys than he is.
Yeah, and it's like Sora has a toy. Like there's the Play Arts Kai ones. Just make him a ball jointed one. You can still make that look like a toy and not like the model.
I think that's what they were going for, where it's like they just wanted to push it as far as they could. I mean, I have no idea what Kingdom Hearts 3.
So it's Kingdom Hearts 3, and it says come out in 2018.
Think it'll come out in 2018? I'd say so.
Yeah, it could be the
Christmas 2018.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, that's a year and a half from now.
God.
There was an interview about why it was taking so long, and they said like a mid-development switch to the Unreal Engine, and like not enough personnel.
That'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. But it seems to be getting a big enough push from Disney now.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see, like, what's the fandom going to be for that?
I really hope there's a Cars world where they're all cars.
You know, I'd say it will, because like they're gonna totally have an Incredibles world.
It's their most money-making property,
Yeah.
so...
Have they announced a Frozen world?
No, there's a Tangled one though.
If there's a Tangled one, there has to be a Frozen one. Because Frozen one prints money.
Be a
Yeah.
Frozen one.
Like they like money, don't they?
They sure do.
They're gonna announce the worlds like as it goes on towards release date, I'd say.
Do you think they'll do like DLC and everything with other world expansion packs? They probably make this thing last like 5 to 10 years.
If they have any sense, they'd do that. But then, like, Square Enix have been so weird with Kingdom Hearts. Like, this should be an easier franchise to get into. It's like Disney characters with Final Fantasy characters, but its lore is like incomprehensible.
It's all over this place, split among all these different handheld systems.
Yeah.
Some that are discontinued now.
I think it's simpler
'Cause it's been so
because they
long.
released a big one. But a while ago, there was like a thing going around, like listing all the consoles you needed to own to be up to date with Kingdom Hearts, and it was like 8 consoles. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's nutty.
There's one on the Game Boy Advance.
Kingdom Hearts continues to be a baffling thing. Dream Daddy delay causes a stir.
This is the all daddy dating sim made by the Game Grumps guys.
They voice a daddy, don't they? Is that their involvement, or their voices, or are they like...
I think they wrote
I
it.
think they have actual like money in it or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is dating sim that was announced a month ago, and people got really excited for
Yeah,
it.
I thought it was really, really funny. It's just a bunch of dads dating.
It's you create a dad sona, so your own dad.
Wait, you're a dad?
Yeah, it's dads
Okay.
dating dads.
Yeah, it's just dads.
Okay.
A family can be anything.
Oh no, you had no arguments.
It could be like a bunch of dads.
That's fine. It
And
could
then
be
there's, like-
crowd of witches.
Yeah.
10 or so dads that look like Overwatch characters. That's the style they're going for, so they know their demographic. Like, it looks like Overwatch fan art.
But they said it was all like geared to come out at the weekend, and then at the very end, at last minute they were like, we need to change some stuff. It's going to be out in a few days.
It was a tweet in the morning saying, please give us a bit more time, kind of like it's coming today. Then the tweet later on release day was like, okay, look guys, we found some game-breaking bugs. We have done 3 weeks of crunch and we haven't slept, and we thought we could resolve this by the end of the day. Looks like we can't. We're going to go home and sleep and get this to you as soon as possible. And people were pissed. There was half group of people being like, whatever, take the time you need, and the other half being like, this is release day. What happened?
Okay, so like I think there's a couple of sides to this. For one, it's really odd that it was announced very quickly.
Yeah.
And then the release date came very quickly, and it's really strange. Like, I've never heard of that before.
Do you think it's just like a bunch of silly boys got excited?
Probably. Which is totally not how you run these things. But then also, I mean, Jesus Christ, if you gotta wait like a week or so extra, who fucking gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can wait for your daddy dating sim.
I just... Yeah, like I feel so bad for them, and I'd be like, yeah, take your time. But maybe make that announcement 2 days before. Don't make it the announcement the day of.
Why are you finding game-breaking bugs the morning of release? Like, I know any Switch can change something, but like your last 3 weeks should probably be polish.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That sounds very... Unless, how long ago did they announce it?
A month ago, but
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say
not
it was
even.
in development like longer. It should have been,
Do you know
hopefully.
what? They probably found this bug ages ago, and they thought they could fix it.
Yeah.
And then they had to like kind of tell a white lie where they're like, we just found this, but like they didn't just find it. It's all like spin doctor kind of stuff.
It's hard to say. But at the same time, like, I think if a company... It is shitty when companies delay games, and a lot of the time it's like, oh, why didn't they plan it better? Why didn't they plan it better? But at the end of the day, I also do think, like, you know, when a company does delay a game, they are putting off profits they could have made to improve the quality of the content, and that's what they should do. Like, it's better to delay it than release a broken game.
Yeah, completely.
And so the fan reaction's been bad.
Yeah.
It's 50-50, but the side that is like really angry is really angry.
What are they angry over?
Just like, you should have told us, like, I was waiting all day, I was ready to stream this, I have my stream running for hours. Like, people who were like this is what I'm doing today. This is the plan.
I mean,
those kind of people.
I get that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like they are a streaming community, and like everyone wants to be the next Game Grump, and this was supposed to be kind of like a platform for that.
I think as well, when they announced that it wasn't happening, Game Grumps were streaming it, and so was like the leads. And I think their idea was, oh, we'll stream it as kind of this concession, but people were like, why is it okay enough for you guys to be streaming it, but we can't play it? So I think that only aggravated matters as well.
Yeah, it's kind of taunting that way.
Game Grumps have such a massive fan base and such a passionate one as well. Yeah, we gotta be really fucking careful with our mom dating simulator.
Yeah. Mom time.
Mommy madness.
Okay.
Mom time, mommy madness.
I've got these last two. Back to D23. They also had this thing where they were announcing their Disney legends. This is where they get celebrities, or they get kind of like, well, not really influencers, but kind of just people who know stuff about animation, or kind of like big enthusiasts about things.
Yeah.
But they kind of give them like an honorary thing, and they get them to talk and promote Disney. So they gave one to Whoopi Goldberg. She's a huge animation fan.
Yay, Whoopi.
Yeah, Whoopi's fucking brilliant. That bit last year when she was in Broad City made me so happy.
Oh, she's so good.
And like, she's such a big pop culture nerd. Like, she's such a big Trekkie. Like, she begged to be on Star Trek Next Generation, and she's in it. She's really, really good in Star Trek. Like, she's a big nerd.
She's a good fan.
10 years ago, when Warner Brothers released Looney Tunes on DVD, she's at the start of the DVDs giving a disclaimer saying, I'm Whoopi Goldberg, I love animation, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes on to say that these were made in the 1940s, 1950s. Some of the gags are not culturally relevant, some are racially sensitive, but we're going to leave them as they are because to take them away would be worse.
Yeah, totally. That's the way to do that.
So she was like, some of these are stereotypes, some of these you might find offensive, but it's just, it was of its time. It was wrong then, it's wrong now, but here they are in their original format.
Yeah.
So the first thing she does when they have a mic on her is she goes, I want Song of the South on Blu-ray.
Remind me what Song of the South is.
That's the one with Uncle Remus, and it like Splash Mountain in Disneyland is based on Song of the South, with Brer Rabbit getting chased by the fox and the bear.
It's like from 1948, I think.
Yeah, and so it's about it takes place in the South, in the Deep South, and it's about a black man called Uncle Remus who tells these stories about Brer Rabbit, but it's about a young white boy who kind of like spends too much time with him, and then he's not allowed to spend time with him, and it's not like, it's just kind of weird, but it's one of the like biggest Disney films from that era.
And is it controversial for some reason?
I think it's more controversial that they won't show it because it's not overtly racist. It's just like the fact that they're like pretending it doesn't exist is more racist.
So I'm looking at a picture of it here, and it definitely, like, from the I mean, it doesn't really mean anything when I say this, but like from the poster, it looks like a Disney film, and there is like a little white boy and a black man as the main protagonists, but the clothes and fashion definitely come from a time where that would have been tricky, we'll say.
Yeah.
So
that's where the song Zippity Doo That comes from.
Yeah, he sings it. And his friends, and it's not like Mary Poppins where it's like live action with 2D characters, and he's talking to Brer Rabbit and everything, and like he's singing with the cartoons.
So is there anything like problematic in it?
No, the real problematic thing is that they won't release it. They're like pretending it doesn't exist.
Okay. And is there any reason they're doing that, or are they just being weird?
They're just being weird because they think it's super racist. They're just like, no, it didn't happen.
Okay.
But they have Splash Mountain, but that ride was made in like the 70s.
Yeah.
Because back in the 70s, they were like, yeah, because the film came out on video. I've watched it on video, but that was in the early 90s. And then kind of around 95, well, the mid-90s, when Disney were really, really hitting their stride with their revival, with their kind of, I guess, Silver Age, the Waking Sleeping Beauty phase, they just like pretended a bunch of films didn't exist anymore.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's cool she'd call them out like that then.
Yeah. Then kind of on the other side of that is the Steven Universe art book.
So I don't know what this is about. I've been dying to hear about this.
Okay, so I guess animation and fan bases, there's kind of two sides to the sensitivity coin. There's one where like the studio are being overly sensitive, and then there's the side where the fans are being overly sensitive. So
I refuse to believe that anyone interested in animation could ever get worked up about a subject that's not important.
Yeah. The Steven Universe. You know.
Yeah, I can speak on that.
Yeah, like there's Bleach is a chill audience.
Oh, Jesus.
So the Steven Universe art book, I don't know if it's like out properly, but like some people have gotten their Amazon pre-orders early. You go through it, there's like loads and loads of concept, but then there's one page on a character called Concrete, and it's of a gem, and she's kind of like a chunky looking gem, but she's kind of drawn potentially blackface, and she has her stats, and one of her stats is can't read. And people are really, really pissed about this. And Rebecca Sugar had to make a tweet. And it's one of those tweets where like you screen grab something you've typed in notes, where it's her just like, I'm so sorry, that was a throwaway drawing. It was me who I did the review of the book and I left it in. It won't be in future publishing.
Oh, Jesus Christ, okay.
It's fucking nuts.
What do you guys make of this?
I want to get the book because I like first editions of stuff before they've changed them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like that makes that book, it was interesting anyway, but I kind of want to get it. I don't know, I don't feel like it's my place to decide if that bothers me or not, because I'm not black. But from what it looked like from an artistic standpoint was just the how the gems are drawn. They just have like large lips, and this one wasn't colored in.
Yeah.
So
you can take it that way if you want to but it does look that way, you know.
But you like okay. So the way I
the can't read stuff is the thing that tips it into this weird area rather than the drawing. I think
the way Rebecca Sugar draws the gems is she picks one bit of the gems on their face and exaggerates it. And exaggerates it. So Pearl has a pointy nose. Amethyst has the lips.
And so does Rose.
Yeah, and so does Rose. But then like Garnet's got like I guess the hair and the glasses.
Sure.
Is kind of like her kind of focus on her face. Like Steven and Steven's dad would have like the same nose. You know how they all kind of, and like Steven has like kind of more almond shaped eyes than circular eyes.
Something is pushed.
Yeah. And so and yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff, but maybe the can't read thing is something that works into a storyline. I don't know. You know how you just have a bunch of throwaway ideas.
Yeah.
But I just think there's just like there's an A plus B and now they're making like C.
Yeah. I mean like I'd kind of be on the same page with you and Niamh. Like I'm never in the business of like if someone is like I find this offensive, like unless I'm in a very particular position I'm never going to be like no you don't.
Yeah.
But at the same time I think I'd wonder who is upset by this, you know? And especially that fandom I feel like has gotten carried away with this kind of thing plenty before.
Do you think her black boyfriend's upset? Probably not.
I don't know.
But I like okay, Steven Universe.
No, I would bet he's not.
No, he's probably like fucking fans because the Steven Universe fans are fucking terrible.
Yeah, like they're waiting for something to be angry about.
Yeah, and this is it. Like
yeah, because sometimes yeah.
And we have San Diego Comic-Con next weekend, and they always have to do a Steven Universe panel, and I feel so sorry for her because they have to do a Q&A. And they're probably going to screen the shit out of that Q&A.
I mean, the message that she put out there was like her apology. It's going to be removed from other printings. That kind of goes back to the Song of the South thing. It's like a general consensus from like a group of people is that it's racist. Do we remove that from the book because it's upsetting for people, or do we keep it in the book? Like, should other printings have a note next to that drawing? Like, where do you start taking away things, and where do you start leaving things because it should be kept?
It's interesting because like Bryan, your thing earlier with the Looney Tunes cartoon where Whoopi Goldberg gave the intro, I see that as like a piece of history, and like you should remember that shit was weird like that and that shit was wrong back then, and that like you shouldn't like paint over that stuff. I think it's important to remember that stuff. This is kind of different because this is like an unintentional weird fuck up in a way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't unintentional. It was like, this is concept and this is going in the concept section of the book.
Well, the racial undertones that people have read into it was unintentional.
Yeah.
Like, they were intentional back in the Looney Tunes times because that was like a silly gag back then.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
Because like Rebecca Sugar is like seems like the nicest person ever, and the main goal of her show is kind of acceptance and inclusion regardless of how you look.
Yeah, that would definitely go against the themes of that show.
So didn't you remove it out of the book then?
I think
I have no idea what I'd do.
I just think she really, really doesn't want to upset people, and she's kind of like, it's probably not even like a big crowd that are angry at her. It's probably
I
just
would bet it's a loud crowd.
It's
and
a
that's
it's
all
a
it
tiny,
takes.
loud crowd.
I
Yeah.
bought recently on eBay the X-Men Gold comic,
Yeah.
and that's the comic that has Kitty Pryde, who's a Jewish character, and she's been the leader, and next to her head is a jewelry shop, but her head just cuts it off at Jew and stuff. And there's like,
What the fuck?
yeah, there's this happened a few months ago. It was really fucked up, and this artist, people were really excited for this guy to work on it because he's an amazing draftsperson, but he put in all this like anti-Jewish racist shit in it, and the book went out, people bought it, noticed it, he got called up, he's fired from Marvel, but in that space, people bought the books because they were recalled and reissued with all the stuff taken out of them.
Yeah.
I wanted a copy of the original because I like X-Men, I like collecting stuff like that, because it's kind of like this moment before something was changed. And I think it's like it's awful. I opened the comic and I looked at the page and it made me feel gross that was in an X-Men comic, but there was something about me wanting to preserve it as part of print history. You know, in 2017 this happened, rather than in 2017 nothing ever happened.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's a really fucked up story. I hadn't heard that at all.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
God, man.
The guy was really brazen about it for ages as well. People were calling him out on Facebook and he was like, yeah, I know. And then it was like, it just picked
How
up
did he
steam.
think that was going to go?
I don't know, because it's book paragraphs on people's t-shirts that are so obvious. Like, that's not how a t-shirt looks. It was very, I don't know how they didn't catch it, to be honest, in the Draftman.
I think whoever's in charge doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Until someone complains, and then all of a sudden they put all the manpower into getting rid of the problem. So I wonder if this is the same thing. Like, do you think she made that decision, or do you think Cartoon Network made that decision? Who knows?
I'd say a lot of people. I'd say she wanted to as well. Like, she doesn't want to hurt people or anything.
I would.
But it is frustrating.
I'd find it hard to believe there was any like conscious racist intent on her part, definitely. But then how much does that count for? You know what I mean? Like, it's. I would need to sit on this one for a while before I had a solid opinion, I think.
It's a great conversation.
Yeah.
From what I've heard about making a television show, it is one of the most stressful jobs ever to be a TV show creator. Penn Ward, who made Adventure Time, quit Adventure Time like 3 years ago. And apparently he quit, and then a year later he announced he quit, but everyone kind of knew he'd already quit. Just couldn't do it.
I think when I think of her specifically having to go through that stuff, I think that's kind of shitty. But then when I think of if someone was actually genuinely upset by it, I think that fucking sucks for them too.
Yeah, you can't say that emotion didn't happen.
Yeah. So there is a lot to that one for sure. And I think that's going to do it for our Quicktime Events. And so we move into some emails. Bryan, what do you got for us?
Okay, this first one is from Alfresco. Dear Let's Fight a Boss cast. So I'm nearly done with my first Bloodborne playthrough, and it is already one of my all-time favorite games. I really enjoy the level designs and the atmosphere and sound design.
Are these inflections in the email?
Sweet Jesus, it's so good. The spits in caps.
Okay.
Playing Bloodborne has got me thinking that all my favorite games offered an interesting environment to explore and interact with. I was wondering what some of your favorite environments were in games and what you think makes them fun or interesting to play. Also, what are rumors circulating about SoundCloud shutting down? If SoundCloud were to drop off, what would that mean for the podcast?
Let's address that second one first, will we?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like to think of the Let's Fight a Boss cast as the cockroach of video game podcasts.
Oh, you betcha.
We are not the biggest, we are not the smartest, we are not the most prosperous, but we will always be here through every nuclear blast, through every natural disaster. The Boss cast will find a way to regrow its limbs, climb to the top of the pile of corpses, and be there for you, my friends. We will always be your virtual friends.
We will. If SoundCloud 100% leaves you you've got two other options. You've got YouTube and you've got iTunes. You're fine.
Yeah, it's not our RSS feed or anything, so all it would mean is that we wouldn't be on SoundCloud. And I know quite a few people listen to us on SoundCloud, but definitely subscribe to us on something else. Now, from what it looks like, SoundCloud isn't going anywhere soon, but company shit is also weird, and we don't know.
They had to let 50% of their staff go last week, and they have a weird business model in that they're very different to like iTunes, Music Store, or Spotify, where it's all free. But then you can pay for for SoundCloud, but it doesn't have ads, but it doesn't really have ads anyway, or the ads aren't that frequent.
What you're paying for is uploads.
Okay.
Not listening. People who listen, I think it's just
that is a weird business model.
Because I love SoundCloud. Some of my favorite music I found through SoundCloud.
Oh, totally.
I don't want it to go anywhere. I know that a bunch of SoundCloud enthusiasts are currently archiving everything that's on SoundCloud just in case. Because, but I'd be really, really, really bummed if SoundCloud left. So
it's its own little community. I'd miss it as well. Like,
it's a cool thing.
I like to listen to podcasts on it a lot.
Yeah. So environment design, definitely Bloodborne. That was probably one of my favorite things about Bloodborne. Like Canehurst Castle's one that I love. That
I love the. Sorry, go on.
I just really love exploring it, and then all of a sudden you figure out that I can get the lift back down to the starting area again. I love when the guy Miyazaki, the director, ties an area together and you make the shortcut, and you've no idea where you're going for ages. And then you realize where you are back at the start, and it all clicks, and it's so satisfying.
I love the college from Bloodborne as well. You just find a college where some bad shit went down. That was really cool. What about you, Niamh?
I really like what makes good environmental in video games is environmental storytelling. How it just lifts up the narrative without telling you something. Like, you go into a room and something's off, and you like, oh, they needed to leave this in a hurry, like if it's a zombie thing.
Yeah, and like it's not done through audio logs, it's done through the props and set design.
I love the Final Fantasy series for this usually. I think they have like really fun locations that really build on the world. Thought that's kind of how 15 fell down a little for me as well.
One of the many ways.
Yeah, one of the many. Final Fantasy X specifically, some of those environmentals are just
totally
breathtaking. Like, really good design. I like the Resident Evils as well.
Yeah, there's some really fun stuff in there.
Yeah, there's fun shit hidden around, and it really sells you the atmosphere.
Yeah, they really work with the set pieces as well.
Mm-hmm.
Banjo-Tooie, which is the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie, is really, really, really cool levels. The whole time I was playing through the first one, Banjo-Kazooie, I was really, really hoping there'd be like a prehistoric dinosaur level, but then they do it in Banjo-Tooie, and it's amazing. It's such a cool level.
I still know a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie layouts in my head.
Yeah. And in Banjo-Tooie, what they do as well is there's a train, but it connects to a lot of different levels, and you can use the train to travel between levels without using the hub world. And that's done so that there's a sick dinosaur on one level, and you have to take him to a doctor in another level, and you use the train to do it. I love that kind of environmental
really cool
design.
Yeah.
And then, I really like what they did with Mario 64. But one of my favorite things with Mario 64 is that usually in video game levels they'll start you at the bottom of like a mountain, but in some of the levels of Mario 64 they start you at the top of the mountain.
Especially the further on you go.
Yeah. So they'll start you at a different point in the level. Sometimes it's in the middle, and you've got the choice of going up or down. I really, really like that kind of idea in
there's a really cool
design.
verticality to that game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the king for me at this one is the Silent Hill series, but specifically Silent Hill 3, I think, has some of the best environmental design in the whole thing. Like, the first environment in Silent Hill 3 is just a shopping mall. That's all. It's just an abandoned shopping mall. But just, it feels so fucking real. Like, it really feels like a shopping mall where no one is there. And that includes, like, the weird back rooms to the shops and everything. And they brought it to life so well that they could have not put any monsters in that, and I'd find it like really compelling just to explore. I really love Silent Hill 3 for that reason. I mean, Silent Hill 2 has a lot of good stuff as well, but the focus on that is more like how the environment relates back to James, which is also, I think, a super interesting way to tell a story. But definitely Silent Hill 2. Oh, Little Nightmares as well, which is a game I played earlier. I think we talked about it a little earlier too. Amazing environments in that game. There's a really cool place where there's these two chefs, and you're like going through not really their house, but more like their little set of rooms where they live, and like
their quarters.
They have like their beds sewn together. They have two toilets that are like fused together, and you realize they do everything together. That's like their thing, and like they have two portraits that are like smashed and brought together, like, and it's really weird. And seeing that they had that kind of connection made them like a lot creepier, and that was really fun.
There was good stuff in Deus Ex that if you climbed into an apartment, you could get anything in there. There would be like portraits of cats, and you keep going around and there'd be a gold cat statue, and you listen just to audio logs from there, and it's like, it's a cat owner who's obsessed with her cats being safe while she's away on holidays, and there's cat food all around the place. There's a cat calendar. There's just, that wasn't, I found it before any mission made me need to go in there. So it's like, just having that little bit more personality to a world really makes it
because like,
nicer to be in.
That's not even just a character anymore, or an environment. That's like they've actually written a character and just sold her through that. That sounds so cool. But yeah, good email.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good emails recently. I'm excited.
What's the email address?
Email us at askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
That's askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
Only the strongest emails, please.
Okay, this next one is from James. I had a question about video game walkthroughs. When do you think it is appropriate time to look up tips or general guides online? I know a lot of gamers believe looking for walkthroughs or tips will devalue a gaming experience. For example, in Persona 5, I think it is really hard for newcomers like me to fully enjoy the game without looking up tips about raising confidence and stats such as kindness. I definitely could have beaten the game without any help, but would have ended up more frustrated in the end. And then do something about the podcast sauna, but that's for a different time.
I think the answer to when to look up walkthroughs is when you stop enjoying the game and you want to, if you're stuck at a part that is frustrating to the point that you don't want to play the game anymore, but you still like the game, that's when you look up a walkthrough. Yeah,
completely agree. Yeah. Don't make yourself hate something you like because the game design is not helping you through.
And also, I think like I think the attitude he's kind of talking about here is like, no, you gotta beat the game, bro. You gotta fucking just do it. Just figure it out, you.
I was like that.
I get it to a degree, but also I'm an adult with a full-time job now, and
my time is precious.
I try in my job. I won't look how to beat a Dark Souls boss because I want to figure that out myself because that's the fun of that, you know. But like there were certain points in Nier where like there was no waypoint and I had no idea where to go, and I was like, okay, I'm looking this up because I'm not spending the fucking 3 hours crawling this world to find what I need.
I had a glitch in Nier that if I didn't look up, I wouldn't have known it was a glitch. And
really?
I would have. Yeah, there's one of the very start missions. You have to collect stuff for a shop trader and like a weapons guy, and it denotes it with a red field, and you go and you find an object within that red circle. That red circle was there and there was no object.
I had that as well, actually.
Looked it up. It's a glitch. You have to restart it, and then the object will like.
Yeah, because I that's what happened to me. I stopped playing it and I was like, I guess I'll try this again. And it just never showed up.
I went around the world for like an hour and a half seeing if there was another way in. It was actually down below where I was because there's a whole pile of weird layering in Nier. I thought maybe I needed a BIOS, like a plugin that helped me see something. I had to look it up, and I'm glad I did because I already wasted loads of time.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly acceptable. Whenever a new game comes out, I like that websites I've started doing recently, like Kotaku and Eurogamer, where they'll have like, before you start playing, here are some like bullet points of like to get the best out of your first like few hours.
Yeah.
So something like Splatoon will always have that, or I know Persona 5 had that, where they were like, invest your time in this,
and I actually read a few of those, and I think it did enhance my enjoyment of the game a lot.
And it doesn't spoil anything; it just points you in the right direction. I love that kind of stuff. I really like spoiler-free walkthroughs where they don't give anything away. I think people have gotten really, really, really good at that.
Yeah, they have.
But then when I played the Metroid Prime trilogy, I actually bought a physical walkthrough because I wanted the artwork in it. But I played that with the walkthrough in my lap, and it was really, really fun. It felt like I was following instructions, but it wasn't. It wasn't taking anything away from me because I still had to like beat the bosses, and get to the locations, and it still takes a while. But it didn't. It didn't ruin any experiences for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think walkthroughs are a little like spoilers. Like, you know, I don't think they actually ruin a whole bunch. I think they just change your perspective. I think some people don't want their perspective changed sometimes, and that's fine. But I think, like, for me in particular, like if I carve out 2 hours in a day to play games. I really want to enjoy it, and I don't want to be stuck. And I'll try and puzzle through something up to the point where I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But then I paid $60 for this game, so I'm going to see it all, you know.
I remember I knew this one kid, and I lent him Phoenix Wright, and he beat the game not through mental intuition or anything like that. He just picked all the dialogue options until he got to the end.
Wow.
Because he was 8 years old and he had all the time in the world.
And, sure, if that's what you got, if I had that much time, that's probably how I'd play games too.
Yeah, but no, walkthroughs, I would rather read a walkthrough than do that.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting question.
Do you want to read this next one? It's from Kimo.
Sure. So this is from Kimo. Hi, brief background. I used to play a lot, I'm assuming he's talking about games in general, but after 2004 or so, I started playing less and less, only dabbing in exceptionally innovative games, e.g. Guitar Hero, Stanley Parable, and Mirror's Edge, and competitiveness, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, League of Legends. However, all this time I've kept a close eye on the gaming scene. It has made me kind of an outsider to gaming, but with vast knowledge of games. I totally relate to that.
For sure.
I definitely spend more time consuming gaming media than I do playing games now. What I find baffling is that to me it seems like most gamers seem to consume games without much thinking or even trying to immerse themselves into them. It's like they've played so much they've become completely desensitized. They dissect games, especially those made with smaller budgets for small imperfections, disregarding the big picture and genuine uniqueness. Example, people criticize Kate scene in Life is Strange for stretching the rules of the time rewind mechanic. It's a powerful scene. It isn't done in an annoying way from the mechanic's standpoint, but somehow its uniqueness, who else deals with suicide in games, is ruined because of the new restriction, according to gamers. Listening to your podcast, it seems like that all three of you show these signs. What's your opinion on the subject? Have you become desensitized? Sincerely, Kimo, aka Punakala. P.S. He also recommends Errant Signal. It's a brilliant and unique channel that talks about games, about the thematics of games.
We all like Errant Signal.
I think we actually loot dropped Errant Signal in a
very old episode.
Yeah. He also says one more little thing which I actually really liked. Super iPad 12 is one of my favorite channels, even though I often disagree. I love that. I love when people are like, I don't agree with anything you say, but I like your channel. That's always such a good compliment, because one of my least favorite comments is, I agreed with everything in this video.
Yeah, your word is gospel.
And
oh
it's
my god.
No, it ain't. This is just, or the worst one is like, I like how your videos are objective. And it's like, buddy, they are not objective at all. That's insane.
Just trying to get a discussion going.
That's a very genuine and sweet compliment. So thank you for that. That is a very interesting question. And I think, what I like about it, I guess, is that he points this about us in particular. Because I think the three of us are very critical about games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to, the Life is Strange example, though. I found that scene very affecting. Super affecting. I didn't even know that criticism was there.
No, I'd actually never seen that before, and I do really like that scene.
Yeah, that bit's brilliant.
Yep.
I think if someone came out of that watching that scene and went, "Oh, you changed up the mechanics," you're kind of a douche.
I think you're
definitely overthinking stuff.
I'm guessing you're the kind of person who finds an anime, finds a power level chart, and looks up all the characters and is like,
why are you playing a narrative game for that?
You know.
We are definitely critical in that, let's say we're excited to talk about a game, and I think it's such a fucking Irish thing to do as well, but right away we harp on the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being positive about things in general is very, I'll say, de-incentivized in Ireland.
We are constantly cautiously optimistic. We don't do hype culture at all.
Yeah.
I try not to get caught up, get fooled. But
we totally will get excited about, I'm pumped for Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah.
But that's a very special game.
Yeah. So I guess something like Breath of the Wild, I love that game, but I love talking about the problems that are in it. Because that's kind of the only bit in the game where you feel you can chip in and say how you think it could be improved or what could have been changed in that game.
I think also, one thing that's, I think, interesting to know is, I can go on all day about, the faults of a game or criticizing a game, and that game can still be one of my favorite games of all time. Like, the example I always bring up for this is Azura's Wrath. That's a 6 out of 10 game, and it's one of my favorite games ever. The combat in that game is fucking garbage, and I don't care at all because I love that game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we all like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the manga, but there's some janky ass bullshit in that sometimes. Where
Being critical is fun as well.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, totally.
But also, like, being able to see past that and see what it's doing right. I actually was thinking about it. I finish bad games more than I finish good games. Halfway through a good game, I'm like, I get it. I get why I like this. And this is only going to make me like this. So unless the story is super compelling, I need a really good reason to get to the end. Where it's a bad game, I'm kind of like, it's like problem solving in and of itself. It's kind of like, how did this happen? Where is this going to go? How are they going to play this out, you know? I want to see all the parts moving of a bad thing rather than a good thing. It's
That's
really
like, interesting.
Like,
yeah.
How can this change? How, like, okay, the story is really good, but, like, my inventory is bad, and how could that be improved upon? Like, I find the problem-solving aspect of it interesting on of itself, but I do think it can take you out of the heart of something, or the feeling of a game as well. When you're looking at the pieces, you sometimes don't get the full picture.
Yeah, like you know when you play a game and it has like a shitty menu, but you find like a rhythm to getting in and out of that menu as quick as you can, and that's and that in itself is the game.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah,
I can think of a ton of shit like that where like a badly designed implement, I develop a mechanic to like cope with it.
So you know how people love Ocarina of Time? That's like a perfect game, but the menu system to put the boots on and off is bullshit. But you end up like making like a kind of mental rhythm.
You get muscle memory.
Yeah, to and you end up doing that like 50 times in that dungeon. It's the worst part of that dungeon. In a perfect 10 out of 10 game, that's a lot of shit. But you know.
But it's also something you carry with you. It's like we're talking about it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I also think like I feel that if you can't talk about your honest criticisms with a game, then it's kind of like how worthwhile are the positive things you have to say about it. Like, you might like it, but if I meet someone and they're just like evangelically praising a series and there's no faults at all,
There's something wrong with
that starts to feel to me, okay, this seems much more like this person has a very personal connection with this property, but it's maybe less likely to appeal to me because they don't seem to be viewing it on a level where they're looking at it from all sides, you know? Whereas I really like to be able to be like, this series is fucking amazing, here's everything that's wrong with it. Like, when I talked about Yu Yu Hakusho, that was one of the longest, like, faults sections I ever had, and that's my favorite anime ever. And, like, I think the faults I had with that were way more severe than faults I have with other series. But I just think it's that important to get across what works and what doesn't about something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for that email. That was really, really good.
Yeah, that was a fantastic email.
Really, really, really got the juices flowing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Totally.
so this last one is from Nissi. Nissi? Nicey. Nice.
Hello. First, I have to say I love your show. You guys have the most beautiful talking voices from all the podcasts I've heard.
Well, thank you.
So my question in short, what makes an asshole character lovable? And can you guys name some you like from any medium? Specifically, want assholes that aren't villains because they're automatically assholes for being a villain. I think it's fun to watch the writing balance between making a character unlikable and likable without feeling like the personality was forced on the character. A lot of them just feel cartoony, or like the author was trying to be smart and throw in random sarcasm. One successful example, at least for me, recently is Zap from Kekai Sensen. And I think that this character works as how other people in the show treat him. He gets punished a lot for being an asshole, and this just made him more lovable in a pathetic way. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. Thanks for reading this long ass letter.
I love assholes.
Yeah.
Now, when they say no villains, do they mean like what? How do we feel about redemption characters, like the Vegetas of shows? Does that
I think
count?
that's exactly that character.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, for me, first came to mind is all 5 of the characters in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Because they're all protagonists, but they're the assholes in that show.
Mm-hmm.
But then they encounter other assholes, but they're just like frustrating roadblocks in a world of assholes.
I feel like with the characters of Always Sunny, like, you know when you know a friend long enough and you're like, oh, they have this thing that they always do and it drives me fucking crazy, and that'll drive you crazy for a long time, but after like a couple of years you're like, I know that they're going to do this in this situation, and you're nearly kind of looking forward to it because you're like, here it fucking comes.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, and I think Always Sunny pulls that off perfectly.
For sure. Like, who in something like The Simpsons is like an asshole?
Kind of everyone.
Yeah.
I think if a character is well written enough, they're always a kind of asshole in some way.
Marge is kind of an asshole
I mean,
sometimes.
she can be.
Well, like the whole like delinquent schoolboy thing is the likable asshole. Like Jotaro, he's a likable asshole.
That dude's a deadbeat dad. He's shit.
Yeah.
All like when a Yankee turns good for some reason, like the main character of Slam Dunk, like he's a bit of an asshole, but he really has a heart of gold, and I think that's enjoyable because if the hero's just always good, it's nice to see someone who's a bit morally grey who still is trying their best, because I think that's closer to what people are anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, I'm trying here, I'm not doing it well, but I do want to be a good person.
You know what? You know when you were making your One Piece video and you're asking me like, very kind of thematic questions about One Piece.
Me and Bryan had a long sit down.
And so John asked me, what do you like about Monkey D. Luffy? He's a shit friend. Okay, like, you really, really want him on your side in a fight and he will save you, but Jesus fucking Christ, is he frustrating to be around with. Because you go, Luffy, don't punch the fucking royal family member here. And what's he going to do? That fucking asshole is going to lose.
Slam them right in their fucking face.
Yeah, every time. And you know how they'll arrive on an island, they're like, okay, so let's all come up with a plan. And Luffy's like, woo! And he goes right ahead. Like, Luffy's an asshole.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that in shonen protagonists, especially where, it's just like a shitty little brat.
I think Yu Yu Hakusho consistently delivers on that in spades. I think out of all the assholes in all the lands, Yu Yu Hakusho's assholes are the most lovable.
Kuwabara. And of course Yusuke himself.
Hiei, the fucking greatest, the world's greatest.
Is Kurama an asshole?
Kurama's a nice boy.
Yeah, Kurama's not an asshole.
But I find it...
No way, he does that one thing. He does the fucking...
Oh, yeah. He does the most asshole-ish... Yeah.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
But I find it hard to relate, because like there is a certain kind of character that I see like a lot of people really into, and it's like the super nice boy, and they're always like characters that get like big Tumblr followings and stuff like that. I can never get into those characters at all, because I'm like, you're kind of just like, you're not a character, you're a piece of fan service.
Okay. Biff in Back to the Future. You know how the main villain of Back to the Future is like the situation that they're in, but there is, like a foe that they have to kind of take out. But like Biff is like a really, really good asshole that's just like kind of in the way of people's lives
without actually being like evil.
Yeah, because like it doesn't make a difference whether he's alive or dead. Like they're still gonna have like a timeline with everything going on.
Yeah.
But he's just an asshole that's kind of...
He's just a person who makes things worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like when a character does that, where it's like, it would be better if they weren't around, but it wouldn't be as interesting. I think that's what makes an asshole an asshole.
So, slight tangents, but can we talk about Ryuji from Persona 5?
He's lovable. No,
what is going on with that guy?
Why?
Because everyone kind of hates him. I think he's fine. But like everyone in Persona 5 hates him. Like I feel like he'll say something and Anna be like, shut the fuck up, Ryuji. And everyone else will be like, yeah, jeez, why did you say that?
It's so weird that you read it that way. I always thought like Anne's teasing of him was kind of cute, like in a likable manner.
But she's always like, shut up. Like, that's her teasing.
Shut up, idiot.
Isn't that how you... Shut up, John.
But see, like...
You said that to me once and it was really upsetting.
Oh, really? Shit.
At work, there's like 200 people at work, but there's definitely like people at work who like playing that role in meetings and stuff where they kind of like being the butt of the joke, but they kind of like having like a final word and then getting put down and then get to kind of like fold your arms in that smugness. Some people just... And it's not really being an asshole, but they just kind of like... I don't know what the word is.
Some people are shit starters.
Yeah, shit starters.
Yeah.
You need to have the shit starter for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's a shit starter in a different scenario.
I would never start shit. Never in my entire life. But maybe that's why no one likes me.
Yeah, that's not relatable.
Your moral compass is fully erect in the wrong direction.
Why do you keep... You always say that.
I'm taking the piss out of
Do you
John's.
get like fully erected to like every podcast?
Yeah. Fully erect, also dripping with anticipation is the other one.
Jesus Christ, Brian.
And the new one is shit smear. All 3 orifices.
Okay, I think it's about time to shut this down.
Can we do fan art?
Oh, sure, yeah. We got a few fan arts to shout out.
Okay, so these are 2 specific ones. The first one is from Riz, and he drew all 3 of us. And let's just kind of go through this person by person. I'm going to zoom in on it. So notice I'm doing gang fingers.
You can find this on the Twitter at Let's Fight a Boss or the Instagram just Let's Fight a Boss, which we're going to be putting all our fan art on from now on. And we really super appreciate the fan art. It's been amazing. Please do some Hell Office fan art.
We try our best to tag the artist or the source. Sometimes we can't, but if you can make it as easy as possible for us, then we'll definitely tag you. Don't worry.
Yeah, link your Twitter or do it through Twitter.
Yeah. So this is from Riz. So I'm doing gang fingers because when I was in Anime Expo, I kept doing gang fingers.
That's because in Anime Expo, you're like, Niamh, I like that. I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your bit, Niamh?
Yeah, I was doing it for ages, and then Brian was like, "Well,
how
that's
about we
better
both
when I do it."
We could both do it.
And yeah, but now it's fan art lore for you.
But we could do different fingers. Like, how about I do like I could.
You
I
can
could
do
cross
the like.
Brian,
keys.
you've already stolen it. Like,
Yeah.
At least just stop trying to make it better.
White people, white man doing it again. John's eyebrows are absolutely phenomenal. You actually do own that grey t-shirt, don't you?
I mean, I'm sure I owned it at one point.
You have a blue tint to your hair, which is based on a true story at college. I think it was either a first or a second year, but you had dyed your hair kind of blue.
It's kind of blue now.
And yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. And so in the right light, you're like, is your hair navy? And you're like, no.
It's like me. It's got layers.
I'm wearing my cap. It's a flat cap. Sorry. Now, here we go. Here's Niamh. So she's got the piercings.
I do.
You got the fop.
I do.
That's her hair. That's a nickname for her hair.
The boy band flop.
Yeah. The Korean boy band look.
Who else we got?
We got black tee and we got denim jacket.
What other artists do we got?
I'm not done. I just really, really like this picture.
There needs to be a ghost in every picture of John. Like, behind John, there needs to always be a ghost.
So what are we saying in this picture first?
Brian, this is not working for podcasts.
Yeah, this is an audio format.
Okay, can I please do an impression of all 3 of us?
Okay, go on.
So I'm like, yo, what's up? And John's like, help. And Niamh's like, Niamh is saying, those boys. That's our catchphrase.
Okay.
Stop having so much fun.
Okay, so this is from a ghost.
Oh, this was fucking cool. They gave us like a Final Fantasy style email where or fan art where it looks like turn-based combat nearly, but it's also kind of like a manga panel too.
Yeah.
And we're fighting our greatest foe, which is technical microphone difficulties. People should I really like how they drew my ass.
Yeah. Sound editing is so hard. We record the sound and we don't get to listen to it until we've finished the podcast. Mm-hmm. And we hope every single time that it sounds okay.
Yeah.
I get 2 swords.
Yes, you do.
Niamh gets 2 swords.
She's the main character in Bleach.
Nice.
I have a Kirby Dream Wand.
I didn't know that was a Kirby Dream Wand. That's really cool.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. I have my fists, the most dangerous weapons of all.
And what's the HP on the macrophone? 745.
Fuck! That's going to take a while.
That's the weed number.
Yeah. And if you take the 7 away and switch the 4 and the 5, what do you get, Niamh?
54.
Oh, shit!
See what I did? I brought it all the way back to the start of the episode.
And then we got one more, I do believe.
Do we? No, well, I could find...
We got, on the Twitter,
We got Dragon Ball Z comic fan art.
Oh, yeah.
Someone actually illustrated Android 16 and his journey to French toast happiness. This made me laugh my ass off. This was fucking great.
Just let him have a cereal.
That made my day, so thank you so much to... Do we got their tag?
Oh, we do. This is Trashy the Fool.
Trashy the Fool, thanks so much for that. That was great.
Trashy is garbage. They have one whole tweet.
And what a tweet.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, totally. And with that, let's move into our loot drop. So I have 2 loot drops this week, and the first is Goose Howard. And this is maybe this won't be hilarious if you don't. No, it'll be fucking hilarious. This is the best clip on the internet. And so enjoy that. And then the second one is I just wanted to plug Danny O'Dwyer's Noclip Final Fantasy XIV documentary.
The coolest man from Waterford.
This is a 3-part documentary series about Final Fantasy XIV, and what's so interesting about it is that this was a disaster of a JRPG, like a complete fucking train wreck, and it's just kind of cataloging how it became bad, then how Square actually came and they like fixed everything in it. And what they had to do was they had to leave the old MMORPG running and then build a new one like underneath it and then transfer everyone over. And it's so interesting because it gets really granular about like project structure and time scheduling and how Square managed all that stuff. And I really like hearing about how people manage that stuff because I always think like it's something you can apply to your own work. And it's just, Noclip's excellent. You should totally go subscribe to them and enjoy that one. What you got, Bryan?
It's a YouTube channel I've mentioned before called This Exists, and he does music genres or songs or musicians you might not have heard about. And this one is Anti-Idol, Japan's beautifully bonkers pop movement. So he kind of shows you baby metal, and we all know who baby metal are.
Sure.
But then he's like, no. You haven't seen shit. And then it goes into all the different idols that wear hockey masks and wear Donald Trump t-shirts.
Okay.
There's a whole... There is idol culture for all the weird shit out there.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Okay.
And they make music.
Yeah. It's not good music, but...
They're making it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. It hasn't been about the music for years.
I think you guys got to watch this. It certainly does exist.
Okay.
Cool.
That sounds awesome. Niamh, how about you close us out?
Mine is a Star Trek. So why are you laughing at me?
Hey, just a single Star Trek.
Okay, it's a
My
video.
favorite episode of Star Trek.
No, it's a video chronicling all the different Star Trek up until this point to kind of get you ready for Discovery.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's kind of a tone-setting video. So if you want to jump into Discovery, you don't really know much about Star Trek. I don't like Star Trek. This is my first foray into the series. It sets the kind of emotional and thematic theme.
Cool.
And it was affecting. I was like, that's nice. I can't wait for the series.
That's cool. Look for all them in the description on YouTube or under Twitter.
Yeah.
I can tell you about Star Trek if you want, Niamh.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Rock is in it.
I don't know if that's probably true.
It's true.
Whoopi Goldberg is...
The Rock was in it and he fought 7 of 9 in a wrestling match.
What? No way.
I'm dead serious.
Okay, cool.
Tom Hardy's in it. He plays Captain Picard's clone, even though they're completely different ages.
I didn't know you guys like Star Trek.
I don't. I just know The Rock is in it and they fought 7 of 9.
Okay.
I
guess that's the only important information you really need.
I don't love Star Trek, but I just know enough about it.
Yeah, I'm not into
it's
it
Star
either.
Trek.
I was never in a place where I got into it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something I'd like, and I want to check it out sometime.
Discovery looks cool. I think that might be an interesting way to jump in. So it's like a new TV series. It's going to be Netflix. It's got Michelle Yeoh in it, and the girl who was in Walking Dead is the captain.
Oh, yeah.
Which girl?
She was the black girl that...
Michonne?
No, not Michonne. I don't know her character name at all.
Usually, you know how Walking Dead characters go out.
In Walking Dead, she falls in love with Abraham and has a lot of military gear.
Yeah.
For some stupid reason. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, sorry, her, yes.
And the guy making Discovery has done Hannibal and Pushing Up Daisies.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went off the project, but he's wrote a lot of it.
Okay.
So it seems like a good jump on point.
Okay, I mean, I'll check that out.
Yes.
I like Netflix stuff. And with that, Niamh, what number episode was that?
54. Nevermore.
Yeah, there we go. She did it.
The Raven is here, everyone.
Yeah, I feel good about that episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Yeah, thank you. We love you.
Absolutely. I feel moderately positive towards you.